What's up, guys? Coach Vassar. Thank you for joining me with OTF Audio Daily Beats. As always, if you're new, appreciate you tuning in, listening to me talk about these workouts. If you find value in them, information is in the description to support me. Any feedback, any comments, please let me know. Shoot me a DM, leave a comment on these on the YouTube. Other than that, we're gonna talk about June. Looking at June 1st, this will be on Sunday. It will also repeat Wednesday, June 18th. We got power on the treads, endurance on the rower, strength on the weight floor. It's also a switch template in the 2G and the 3G. Also keep in mind, June, they have started to change the templates now. So you'll notice instead of med balls, they will say YB, which stands for the Y bells. Of course, if your studio doesn't have Y bells, you're still using med balls in place of that. So just be aware of that. Other than that, talk about the 2G, key concepts, and then the 3G. Cool? Cool. All right, so looking at the 2G on the treads, you're on there twice today with a switch style template. Both blocks are exactly the same. We alternate between hard work, recovery, and then the work gets harder each round. On the rower, we start both floor blocks with a 600-meter push row. Set your time in block 1, match your beat in block 2. And then on the floor, we're gonna see 2 floor blocks. Like the treads, you work hard by lifting heavy weights and then recover with rest. Okay, dumbbells are necessary for the floor. I would also encourage you to preload the studio with wipes, so have wipes at the stations to begin with. That way, that 2-minute transition goes a little bit quicker, because as soon as they start to take that walk recovery, they could wipe it down and then move on over. So looking at the people who start on the treadmills, they're gonna do tread, floor, tread, floor. Once again, block 1 and block 2 are the exact same thing. The goal here is to maintain the push intensity and increase the all out. All right, we are going to see a total of 4 rounds of a push all out walk recovery and then a bonus all out by itself. Now the key thing here in the 2G, the push decreases in duration, the all out stays at 30 seconds, and the walk recovery is 75. The first 2 rounds, there is more work than recovery. So knowing that, for the push, start in that conservative mid-range situation. Power walkers 6% or greater, joggers and runners, I'd have them start about 1 up to maybe 1.5 over their base. Bikes and striders, they could start about 3 gears over base. Okay, and then when they hit the all out, start a baseline with it. So maybe just right outside that 2 over their base speed for the joggers, runners, 10% for power walkers, 6 gears over base. And then what we want to see, heart rate goes up, right? They have a minute 45 of tough work and then a minute 15 of full recovery. So definitely that all out should get that heart rate to spike up. It'll continue to go up during the walk recovery for about the first 10 to 15 seconds before it starts to level off and then drop. If people start to come down and they hit that blue, that's a good thing, okay? Emphasize recovery and the importance of it, the peaks and valleys, and the importance of heart rate response for this situation. Now, the push gets shorter, which means as we maintain the effort, it won't be as challenging since they do it for less time, which means they're gonna feel fresher as they go into the next all out. So commit to increasing the all out intensity by adding 0.1 or more on the speed, 0.5% or more on the incline, increasing the RPMs to increase the overall wattage output, or increase the gear as long as they keep the RPMs over 60. Okay, every push decreases by 15 seconds. So if round 1, a minute 15, then a minute, 45 seconds, 30 seconds, and then we drop the push after the 4th round. It's just that 75 walk recovery and then a bonus all out, which should hopefully be the most intense all out of the day so far. That's block 1, 11 minutes. They're done. They have 2 minutes. We'll head to the weight floor. Talk about that in a second. Then they come back to the treads. Now, the tread block on the 2nd round is the exact same thing. So, as the coach, there is a couple ways to approach it. 1, it's the same block. Can members repeat what they did under fatigue? Okay, because on the weight floor they just completed, there was a long endurance row, and then some pretty tough strength-based movements with some unilateral lower body work, and some core work as well. So legs are going to feel a little heavy on the 2nd attempt. So if they could maintain and do the exact same thing a 2nd time, being consistent, that's a huge win, okay? Otherwise, they might feel like they have to scale back, and if they scale back, if they could hit the goal of maintaining those new efforts on the push and then increasing off of the new all out, that's also a win. Okay, so a couple ways to approach it as a coach. So definitely, listen to how the members are responding, how they look, see that heart rate response, and adjust accordingly. Okay. Other than that, I'm not going to talk too much about the second floor block because once again, it's the second tread block is the exact same thing. So let's talk about the weight floor side. So people who start on the floor, they're going to do the floor, tread. After the warm up, you have 2 minutes to kind of get them set up. They start with a 600-meter push row. So if your studio allows it, have the members, rack up their handles, stand up, turn, move around so they could see you on the weight floor, rather than having them come all the way over and then all the way back. Just leave them at the rowers. They're going to start with a 600-meter push row, and the goal is to match or beat their time when they do it in block 2. So for this push row, most people it's going to take about 2 to 3 minutes, depending on fitness level. I would recommend almost like an extended warm-up for the first group. So keeping that stroke rate probably on the lower end, 24 to 26 or so. As they kind of wake up, leg drive could start at about 5 out of 10. But then about halfway through that 600-meter row, so about 300-meter mark, heart rate should definitely be trending upward, maybe hitting green, mid-range, maybe even tapping into that orange. And by that point, if they're feeling pretty good, increasing the leg drive to get that true push effort. So that way it does feel uncomfortable, similar to how they should feel on the treadmills, okay? When they finish that 600-meter row, they are done, wipe down the rower, and then they're on the weight floor for the remainder of the block. On the floor side itself, 3 movements. We're gonna see a single arm split squat, kneel-in Arnold press, and then the floor seated torso rotation. All 3 movements, customizable rep range, anywhere from 6 to 10 reps. So weight choice is up to them, as long as they do a rep that kind of challenges them with their specific goals in mind, and then they could lift as heavy as they can with good form, done safely. Okay, with that single arm split squat, if options are needed, a great one, if you have the benches out, have them do a single leg step up. So rather than having both feet start on the floor, keep one foot on that bench, they'll step up, come back down, keep that foot up there, so it's constantly under tension, similar to the split squat. For that kneel-in Arnold press, the big thing about it is being on the knees. It shortens up the lever, allows them to be more stacked with the shoulders, the hips, and the knees. But if dropping down to the knees is not going to happen today, they could do it standing. We just don't want them to lean back. So split their stance or do it from a seated position. Really keep those core muscles tight. A good way to kind of bring awareness to them is, you could say this off mic rather than on mic. If you were to come by and poke them in the belly button, is it tight, right? Obviously don't do that. Let's not get in their personal space, but just bring attention to it. The other way you could also tell them is, the visualization cue of crunching in their abs, or decrease, minimize space from the bottom rib to the top of the hip. So try to crunch in, drop that as tight as possible as they press and reach up, okay? Torso rotation, really it's about getting that sternum to rotate as they turn to get those obliques engaged. If they're just moving the arms, that's just an arm movement. They're not really using the core to turn, okay? After that row, they'll probably have around 8-ish minutes for this 3-movement circuit. So that's plenty of time for them to really play around with weights. Start with a moderate weight choice. Maybe they get about 8-ish reps. If that's feeling great, keep doing it. They could slow down to add challenge. They could go heavier. Try to hit the same number of reps. Or if they go heavier, can they, stay within that 6 to 10 range with a new rep goal, okay? After that, they hit the treads. They come back to the floor. For the second block on the floor, it starts with that 600-meter row again. Same idea, match or beat the time. Because it's the second attempt, they are definitely way warmed up. They could start more aggressive compared to the first one and hopefully finish at that same intensity and shave off a few seconds. All right, they'll wipe down the rower, and then on the floor, we're gonna see lateral lunge to bicep curl. They'll step out to one side. That leg will then come up, so they stand on one foot as they do 2 dumbbells for that bicep curl, hit one side for 6 to 10 reps. Rest if they need to, then do the other side. If they don't rest, keep in mind, that means they're gonna do about 12 to 20 bicep curls, so they might have to go a lot lighter. If they do take a rest between the sides, 6 to 10 reps on the left side, rest for the arms, then do another 6 to 10, rest on after that, okay? Dumbbell high row, you could use the strap high row as an option if they have any lower back issues. Skier swing, obviously a hip-based movement. You could do like a tempo bodyweight version of that with like the speed squat. It is a little bit of a hinge / squat mechanic. If you want to keep it more hinge dominant, they could also do like a tempo good morning or a deadlift as some alternatives. Finisher is going to be their choice of either the Arnold press or the high row, so a little bit more shoulder work for the final 30 seconds. All right, that's the 2G. Looking at the 3G, this is also a switch template. Each block is 6 minutes. They're going to do tread, row, floor, tread, row, floor. There's a 2.5 minute transition between each rotation. Now, the treads and rowers, they are timed up together and they are repeat blocks. So treadmill block 1 is the same thing as treadmill block 2. Rower block 1 is the same thing as rower block 2. Looking at the treadmills, this is just like the 2G. We are going to remove the 4th round and the bonus all out. They're also going to decrease the walk recovery to just 45 seconds. Otherwise, it starts the same way. 75 push, 30-second all out, and then the walk. And then decrease the push by 15, the next round, and then the 3rd round. So you'll see a minute 15, a minute, and then 45 seconds. Same goal of maintaining the push, increasing the all out, okay? After they finish the rower and then the weight floor, they come back to the treads. It's a repeat, same idea as the 2G. If they could do the same thing, be consistent, that's a win. Otherwise, establish a new push to maintain, establish a new all out to build off of, okay? On the rower, this is gonna be timed up with the treads, essentially. They're gonna have a push all out row with the treadmills, okay? So they have that same 75 seconds of work. They will tap new interval at the start of the block. Personally, what you could also have them do is use a 6-minute countdown, okay? Of course, that means you have to make sure you stay on time with everything. 6-minute countdown, they'll start with a minute 15 push, 30-second all out. They'll rack up their handle, they get off. The template says it's the Y-bell squat to front raise. Keep in mind, if you don't have Y-bells, they're doing it with med ball. Arms are extended, they'll do a full squat, they stand up and then med ball to the shoulder height and then back down. It's 8 reps. When they're done, row at their choice of intensity until the next round. The next round takes off with the treads as they then do a 1-minute push, 30-second all out. Same thing, 45 seconds to do the squat to Y raise, row until the next round, and then 45 push, 30-second all out, okay? So in total, there's only about 90 seconds of time off the rower. So they have about 4.5 to 5 minutes of actually rowing. So as far as distance goes, you'll probably see somewhere about 700 to 1,000 meters total plus. And then when they eventually come back to the rower, the goal is to, same thing, accumulate as much distance as possible. If they remember what they did the first time, can they match or beat it, okay? They say clear out the screen, use new interval, but you could do the 6-minute stored program. That's what I plan on doing it for that day, just to kind of keep it simple, and then just make sure they don't reset the screen. Now the weight floor, it's the same 3 movements for block 1 and block 2 that we saw in the 2G. So you got your split squat, Arnold press, and rotation in block 1. They come all the way back around, and in the second block, we'll have that lateral lunge, bicep curl, high row, and then skier swing. All right. One option that I would recommend for the lateral lunge to balance bicep curl, if people struggle with that lateral lunge, you could have them do a lateral step up, and then with one foot on the bench, the other foot just kind of hanging down. That could also be their balance position as they then do bicep curl and then step off and then step back on. So that way they're still getting that lateral motion, but they're not stepping out as far. That's enough me rambling about this workout. Once again, this was Sunday, June 1st. It will repeat on Wednesday, June 18th. Any questions, feel free to shoot me a DM. Otherwise, coach it down.